This video I'm making is about the proper methodology of how to create money. And it isn't a spiritually video like I normally make. But I wanted to, because it affects the entire world, I wanted to just make a video. This particular paper, there's like 18 pages. There's a list of 72 or 71 senators and congressmen I'm sending this to. Well, when I say sending, it all went out in the US mail yesterday. This is the pages of the writing that I did, that I'll put it in a PDF format, so anybody that wants it, I'll go ahead and email you a single PDF with every single page in there that you can look at it yourself. Now, all that is doing is showing how money is supposed to be made at a level of an entire country. It hasn't been made that way, as far as I can tell, since the beginning of time. Money has always been made from a source, if you will, of demonic powers. And I say that, and most people that hear that, it instantly they're going to roll their eyes and they're going to go, oh my God, this person's a lunatic. And yet most, if not all of these people that do that, either go to church every Sunday and they worship God, or they are in politics and they swear their allegiance to uphold the Constitution, and et cetera, when in fact they are derelict in their duties, and in fact they are betraying the people of this country. This also holds true in every country on the planet. And why? Because they have sold their citizens out to a cabal that makes money. Now, again, I don't want to get into the lunacy factor that, dealing with, the conspiracies of the Rothschild and all that kind of stuff. And though that is true to a certain extent, that's only a smokescreen to detract you. But here's where the problem lies. People go to the greatest universities in the world and receive their PhDs in finance and et cetera, and that is only reinforcing the dogma or the lie that money is supposed to be created from a federal standpoint, from international banking and all of this kind of stuff. It is absolutely a lie, and it is being created from a demonic force and sold to us because we sell our souls, and we borrow money from this demonic force to pay for our own assets. I can't go into details well enough in a video like this to define what I'm talking about, but in short, just in short, what I'm saying is you're not supposed to pay for community-wide or country-wide services. And that would include your education all the way to the doctorate degree level, to all your utilities, meaning water, electricity, sewer, internet. You're not supposed to pay for gasoline, natural gas. You're not supposed to be taxed for any of this. You're not supposed to pay for roads and infrastructure. All of this stuff is provided for free to the citizens of any country that creates money correctly. Because when you create money correctly, in short, now I know it's going to be a lot more complex than this, and I point this out in my writings, but in short, what it is you know how currently the country will pay for its military or its education, whatever, and they don't have enough money through taxes, so they go ahead and borrow it from the Federal Reserve and stuff like that, and of course at interest rates and stuff. Well, that's not supposed to happen. Instead, every time your country pays for a public service, meaning, let's say it's electricity, okay? That should be a public service, okay? So when you pay for your electricity, when the country pays for the electrical service, meaning the power lines, power generation, all of that kind of stuff, it pays that money into existence at the point that it is demanded. So every time you pay your teacher at the end of the week, that money is paid into existence at that point. You don't borrow, you don't tax, because it is a public service. That's not communism, it's not Marxism, what it is, and it's not even socialism, because you have to have capitalism with that also, because capitalism builds fancy yachts and boats. Capitalism builds jewelry, clothing, it builds cars, it pays for music and entertainment. Capitalism pays for all of the things that are absolutely not necessary. It's just auxiliary, so to say. I'm not going to go any deeper than that, just to say that that's the way it's supposed to be done. And our thinking has been warped and screwed up forever. Now, there are a few people in history that tried to start to create money correctly. I don't think they knew what I know, but those particular people that did try, John F. Kennedy was one, and of course they killed him. Abraham Lincoln was one that tried to institute that, and they killed him. Muammar Gaddafi in his country tried to do that, and they killed him. Who else can I think of right offhand? There was another one I was thinking of. Oh, Adolf Hitler. He tried it. Of course, he was a warmonger and a horrible person, but he tried it. And it worked, by the way. Every time any one of these people institute the correct methodology of how to create money, the citizenry of that country flourishes almost overnight. It's just absolutely incredible what can be done. I think, and I've heard certain scientific studies, and I don't know if the correct word is scientific, but like the ancient pyramids that were built, and they were probably, who knows how long ago they were built. Maybe they were built 100,000 years ago, but certainly not 5,000 or 6,000 years ago. Those ancient structures in South America, in India, all of these things predate this dispensation of 10, 12,000 years. And they were all built from a societal foundation where you had experienced craftspeople, stonemasons, etc., all rallying around to create a society that created money. However they created money, they created it in such a way that the entire society benefited from that. So I am saying right now that, and the reason I sent this out to 71 Republican people is because, to be honest with you, and again, this is going to cause a lot of people to just go glassy-eyed and go, this person's a lunatic. Well, and I'm sure a lot of people lately have had it, but I had a vision probably I'm thinking at this time it was 8-9 years ago. And the vision was a breakdown in society. The system collapsed. And in this vision, it wasn't caused by anything other than a collapse and due to money. And the collapse caused, in my country, the United States, about 100 million people to perish over about a 5-month period before they restarted the systems back up again. That's going to hold true throughout the entire Earth. If something isn't done to stop it. That's why I'm making this video. And in the taglines on the video, I'm going to name every single senator. So maybe somehow when you search for that name of that particular senator, maybe this video will come up. I don't know. And I'll leave this video up for as long as YouTube allows it to be up. Maybe it won't be up for more than 2 seconds. I don't know. But I'm telling you now, the world cannot continue under the current demonic system of money creation. It cannot continue. It will collapse. And when that happens, all hell is going to go, and I am telling you, it is going to be the worst disaster in the last 12,000 years. Dare I say, if something isn't done, that's what's going to happen. And it can be averted. It can be averted overnight, but obviously not under our current administration. And the reason I said I sent it to the Republican politicians, it's because the Democratic or the Democrats, it's obvious at this point that they have adopted Marxist communism as their foundation, and they are in the process of doing away with the Constitution of this country, essentially, is what they're doing. I think that if things continue on their path, there's no turning it around. But maybe there's another country in the world that will understand what I'm saying, and I'll send this to anyone in the world. I mean, any country can do this that is well established, meaning you'd have to have a decent military, no doubt, because if you didn't, as soon as you start making money correctly, you will be destroyed. So, I can name, like a lot of countries in Europe. I suspect India could do it. I suspect China could do it. Russia maybe could do it. Most of the European countries, England could do it. Germany could do it. Maybe not Germany. But there's a lot of countries in the world, probably 7, 8, 9 countries in the world that if they adopted this and started creating money correctly, they would save their entire population. Mind you, if money was created correctly, it would be a utopian society within less than a year. And it would be absolutely incredible, because think about the way it is now and how horrible things are, and how there's so much homelessness and dilapidation and corruption. Corruption is caused because money is not made correctly. All the money flows to a corrupt source. Since it's created demonically, the money is held, or assets are held, in the hands of parasites, essentially. And so, yeah, those parasites will push back against having money created correctly. But if it is created correctly, through a social system, then you will save your country. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. I think currently, right now, what is happening is a lot of countries, and including the United States, is continuing to borrow money endlessly, trying to borrow themselves out of this dilemma that besets them. And other countries aren't doing that because they think borrowing is a bad thing to do, but their society is collapsing too. It doesn't matter. And I think the United States is just figuring, well, we're just never going to repay it back, so we'll just continue to borrow and borrow and borrow, and eventually the entire system will collapse. Well, that's fine if you have a backup system like what I'm suggesting. But if you don't adopt a backup system, eventually the whole damn thing will collapse. And that's why I'm making this video. I'm hoping someone will listen. Someone will, in a position of authority, talk amongst themselves and fix the problem. It absolutely 100% cannot continue the way it is. It can't. It is impossible because taxes are a way of paying for assets that you're not supposed to tax. When you have a society and you build it up, for instance, do you have to pay your wife to do whatever it is she does? Do you have to pay the husband to do whatever it is he does? Do you have to pay the children to do what they do? No, in a family, you work together as a team. And when that family grows to 200, 300, 400 million or a billion, it's still considered an extremely large family, and you don't pay for the services that the family already has. The way it's currently done, essentially, is like, for instance, let's say I want to have my, I don't want to be bombastic. I don't want to sound male chauvinistic pig, but it would be the equivalent of me asking my dear wife to go pick the fruit in the garden for us. And she says, I ain't gonna pick the damn garden. You're gonna have to pay me if you want me to pick the garden. And I say, well, I don't have any money. Well, then go borrow some money. So then I gotta go to the bank and borrow at today's rate, probably 8, 9% interest. I have to borrow money to pay her to pick the fruit. Do you see what's happening here? I have to borrow money from someone that has no money, meaning the bank. They don't have any money, but they will loan it to me. And then I have to pay them back the full amount of the loan, plus interest, plus loan fees, and they never had any money in the first place. So they have everything, and I have nothing. Do you see? From a country level, that's exactly what's happening. It requires a monumental paradigm shift in your thinking to comprehend what I'm talking about. It is the equivalency of spiritual enlightenment to understand what I'm talking about. You can kind of understand it, but the paradigm shift is monumental if you can understand it. And if you could understand it, you would be so angry and so upset that I dare say that there would be a civil war and the people responsible for this would be hung out to dry. Anyways, I'm going to end this video with that. And as I said, this is completely different than my normal ones, but nevertheless, I think it has to be said, and that's why I'm saying it. And I thank you for watching. And I really hope, I don't think that any change will take place. Honestly, I don't have any hope that it'll change. But if I don't do what I can do, if I don't do whatever efforts I can, then I actually would feel bad when the whole breakdown happens. So I got to do what I got to do, and hopefully email me and I'll email you a PDF copy of what I wrote. And it's not a all-encompassing methodology. It's pretty damn encompassing, but there are geniuses and very intelligent people, intellectuals, that can tweak it, fix it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But as I wrote it, it could be implemented right now today. So anyways, thank you for watching. Bye.